Here is a movement flow that will get your brain and body ready for the day and adventures ahead. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top so you're fully ready to go. I'm going to do this first one standing and balanced. Now, if for any reason by doing balance exercises you feel unstable, feel free to hold on to the table or a chair or anything that makes you feel sturdy. You can also do these seated and or lying down. But here we go. I'm going to start by doing some curling of my toes, pointing of my ankles. If I'm doing it in my balance stance, I extend one leg forward. I can curl my toes, point my ankle, pull my toes back, pull my ankle back. If in the beginning you need to look at your foot to see what it's going, you can. But then to make it more challenging, you can look forward, eyes to the horizon. Anywhere between 5 to 10 reps on each side is a great starting point. If at all you feel crampy or things don't feel good, using that as a check-in, you can always slow down or modify any of these exercises, putting more or less in depending on how your nervous system and body is feeling that day. After I do my curls and points, I'm then going to take it to some ankle circles, full range of motion. I can start with that toes back, shin, pulling toward my shin. Then I'm going to circle around, going all the way through that point position to then come back around. Once I complete my 5 to 10, I can switch the direction, taking your time. And as always, you can either look to make sure you're going full range or eyes to the horizon. I'll repeat on the other side. I'm doing these modified for time, so once again, feel free to do these faster or more reps. I'm just doing it faster for efficiency. All right, once I got my ankles prepped, I'm going to move my way up to my knees. I'm going to take my legs wide apart, trying to keep my hips still. I'm going to then lift my heel off the ground. I'm doing it on my right foot. I'm then going to roll across to the knuckle of the big toe, all the way around to my pinky toe, straightening the knee as I come back and around. And I call this exercise the Elvis. You want to keep your hips still, but those knees are getting funky like a hound dog. This one should feel very active and working of the foot as I'm rolling and creating almost like an oval shape across the knuckles of my toes, working my foot and calf muscles. You can switch the direction of the circle as well. Same theme, 5 to 10 reps. You can also even put a timer on for maybe 20 to 30 seconds each side, whatever feels right. I've now switched to the other side, doing my knee circles, Elvis style on the left. Working, and good chance to check in with your feet, making sure they're feeling good. And then now from here, I'm going to plant my feet solid down. Knees now stay straight. I'm working my way up to my hips. Hip circles or scrape the barrels. I push my hips to the side, back, to the other side, forward and around. Imagining that you're in a barrel and you want to scrape all parts of the barrel around. I'm going to keep on my 5 to 10 reps, switching whenever you've completed that. Hip circles. Now from here, I can just pivot and turn so my hips are pointing in one direction, the same as my toes. I'm going to move back to my knees by keeping now my hips still. I'm going to fully straighten my front knee. It's straight, check. Then I bend it, take it into the middle, forward, out, and around. Trying to keep my foot planted the entire time makes this more isolated in the knees. Also not letting your hips move too much to guide it. Keeps it, once again, isolated in the knees. I can also do both directions. So now I'm going to bend, go out, forward, in and around. Taking your time with these, 5 to 10 reps. Then I'm going to now take it to the back knee circle. This one's usually a little less range of motion just because of the bones and the mechanics, but I fully straighten it to start. Then I bend it, take it in, forward, out, and around. Trying to keep my foot flat on the ground makes it a little more challenging. After I do those 5 to 10 one direction, I'll reverse the direction. Now I'm going to move my way up into my hips, keeping my knees straight, feet planted on the ground, toes pointing forward. I then push my hips to the side, forward, other side, back and around. Now you're in a little bit of a bigger barrel in your split stance, but still scraping that barrel, all parts of it. Really open up into the hip socket. After I've completed those 5 to 10, I can go back to my neutral, pivot and turn, and I'm ready to complete on the other side. I'm going to run through these ones even a little bit quicker. So here we go. Starting with my knee circles, my front knee straight, bend, forward, in and around. I switch the direction. I move into my back knee circle, first making sure it's straight, then bend, out and around. Other direction. Keeping both knees straight, feet planted, hips circle, scraping the barrel. If you ever feel off balance, feel free to take a wider stance, or if you're a little narrow, maybe a longer stance, play around with a stance that feels optimal for you today. All can be good. Wonderful. Now I've done my hips and lower body, and I'm working my way up to my upper body. To start and isolate more of this motion in my rib cage and upper body, I'm going to take my hands, back of my hands, together and onto my chest bone. From there, I'm going to lightly push with my fingers into my chest bone to round my upper spine right here to create a C shape. Then I push my rib chest bone into my fingers to extend, and like I'm thinking pinching my upper back, bringing vertebrae together. Exhaling round, inhaling lift. After about 5 of these, you can then stack it in where we start to add in some more motion with the upper body, and it becomes a standing cat-cow. So as I open my arms to the side, I'm going to extend my chest forward. I'll even arch my tailbone a little bit, pushing, big inhale. And then as I exhale, you can either do this straight knees or bent. I kind of like bent because you can get a big rounding, big exhale, tucking everything, finding a stretch or opening on the back side. Moving through this as many times as feels good, taking in long, deep inhales and equally long, deep exhales as you round and flex. This is a great time too to check in with your breathing mechanics. Do I feel like I can breathe smoothly? Am I breathing down into my belly? Making sure we reset and recheck our breath, especially if we're moving around and traveling, it can get changed. After I've completed my cat-cows, I'm going to let my arms come down beside me, and we're going to go into some shoulder circles. My arms go out. I can curl my fingers in or keep my fingers spread, both fine. But either way, I'm keeping my elbows straight as I then circle my shoulders around. We don't want the elbows to bend as you'll move, lose all the joy in the shoulders, opening up the shoulder joint, circling the other way. About 5 to 10 reps, keeping that nice long spine and breathing down into your belly. Once you're done from there, you can let your arms rest down, and I'm going to focus now on my shoulder blade moving. I'm going to take my arms back forward. Shoulder blades will then go up and down. This one in particular, if you notice your arms are moving up and down, it might be just a great chance to use it as a reminder to try and move from my shoulder blades so that way the arms stay parallel to the floor. After those, I'm going to then punch forward, feeling my shoulder blades glide forward. Then I pull back, feeling my shoulder blades pinch in toward one another. This one, we don't want to overextend the spine or lose any of that deep core connection by breathing down. So just finding a nice width of your arms, whatever feels comfortable that you can feel shoulder blade moving on the back. After those 5 to 10, if you're feeling spicy and you would like to combo all 4 of those motion, it goes into a circle like this. I shrug up toward my ears, punch forward, pull down, back, up, and around. I'm going to smooth that circle out, 5 to 10, and smoothing the circle in the other direction, 5 to 10. Whew. Then you can let your arms rest down beside you, and we'll move lastly into our neck. So for here, if you ever find it helpful, you can take your finger on your chin to make sure you tuck and pull back. This is my starting position. Then I can keep my eye gaze lower to the floor as I guide my chin forward and down, Maybe finding a little stretch on the back of the neck. And then to strengthen the back of the neck, I'm going to tuck my chin, pulling it back and up. Giving myself that double chin and thinking the back of my skull lifting up allows you to find space on these vertebrae on this part of the neck, which will help your shoulders and arms feel amazing. After I do these glides forward and back, about 5 to 10, going slow, making sure you can breathe. And I'm going to hold that tucked chin position, pressing my head back so I can optimize the stretch on the sides of my neck. Arms can reach a little bit down beside you, tucking my chin, finding my alignment, and then I'll side bend my head to the left and to the right. Even as you do so, if you find that you're over here and your chin is lifted, you can reset each time. Tuck, pull back. After about 5 to 10 neck stretches, you can turn that into a full neck circle. Tucking my chin, finding the length in the back of my neck, side bend, tuck my chin down, around, and lift, back, and through. You can keep going the same direction. As you go back, we always want to make sure that we would still have the ability to talk. If you dropped your head back too far, you would lose that ability, and that would mean that we're overextended. So we always want to make sure we can breathe and would be able to talk. After I do about 5 circles one direction, I'll repeat going the other direction, nice and slow and steady. Once I'm done there, I'm going to come back through center, let my arms rest down. As a final finisher, you can do both of these or even just any one you like. These are to release any remaining tension in the body and also are just really great for so many things about getting our lymphatic system pumping and our heart feeling good and our energy also feeling good. I'm going to start with some swings. I want to think about my arms are like noodles and they're just spinning around so it becomes a nice efficient movement. I can relax the tension in my head, neck, shoulders, and arms, making this rotation more efficient. And then as I just continue to do this for about 10 to 20 seconds, I'm going to just exhale as I get smacked with my arms. I'm going to intensify it here, but you can always pick and choose how hard or fast you twist. Once I'm done with my 20 seconds of twisting, I'm going to let my arms come down and I'm going to do some light bouncing. My feet stay on the ground to start. I have a little bend in my knees. My arms are still heavy, so I'm releasing any tension. Then I'm going to start to bounce in my knees, nice and soft. As I do that, I'm letting out some long exhales. You can do it through the mouth or through the nose, both fine. These particular ones I like to let out through the mouth because it can help you really push that air out and feel good. Same idea, about 10 to 20 seconds of this bouncing. You can even shift side to side as I'm already doing. You can even lift your heels if you want to make your feet more active, shifting and walking. And then also finishing with your feet flat, grounded. Bouncing out any remaining tension. You can take 3 breaths where you inhale, shrug your shoulders up by your ears. Take a long exhale. Feel them roll down the back. And I'll do that 2 more times. Big inhale. And then exhaling through my nose or an open mouth, loose throat. And one more time. Amazing. Now I'm ready for the day, connected with my mind and body, ready to have an adventure. Enjoy.